Good Monday morning. What a way to start a show, huh? Oh, I've developed this cough over the weekend. I don't know where it came from. I feel fine otherwise, but hey, I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum. You're watching the main event, of course, live here 8 to 10 a.m. here at Robat TV. And we're still doing some testing on some other stuff as I'm trying to clear off my desk as we start here. A little discombobulated Monday morning as well, at least for us around here. And of course, as your humble host, well, for the next 2 hours, I got you all set up here to get you caught up over the weekend. Dale Hellestrey is off here beginning part of this week. Class of 1980, they're up there at Saguaro High School. They do a golf trip every year. Well, this is the week of it as well. It's leaving today. Comes back on Wednesday. Of course, we'll see him back here on Thursday probably if he comes back healthy and safe as well on Thursday for his little short stint before Uncle Lou comes in as well. So it's just me today. Bruce Cooper, of course, tomorrow on Tuesday. Wednesday, well, programming note, we will have a shortened show on Wednesday. I've got a senior in high school, if you don't know, who graduates this year, and well, it's the ROTC that he's a big part of. They do their awards banquet on Wednesday. 10:30 a.m. is when that kicks off. Now, I'm going to come in. I'm going to do McCollum on Business Wednesday morning at 7 like normal. Going to do at least an hour show, 8 to 9 a.m. Then I got to take off because I got a 45-minute hour drive back across town. Get there, and I get there on time for that coming up on a Wednesday as well. Then Thursday's normal show with Uncle Lou, and, of course, Friday as well. So some things happening here, and, we'll get it settled. But I felt it'd be fun to come in and do an hour show with you guys, get you caught up on Tuesday night's activities around the sports world, and just come in and have some fun and do it. I mean, what else am I gonna do? Sit at home until I have to leave at 10 o'clock? No, we don't do that here. We come in and we do a show as well as we get it started. So appreciate you joining me here on this Monday as well. Tons to talk about this weekend. Your Phoenix Suns. Game 4 tonight. Do they stay alive? Do they do what the Houston Rockets did? Do they stay alive and sneak out a win against Oklahoma City? Does Oklahoma City close them out tonight, 6:30 p.m.? We'll talk about that. And, of course, what happened on Saturday, 12:30 start, down there at the morgue. And it was a morgue on Saturday. We'll talk about the crowd as well. I just think nobody has any hope on this team. I mean, people are wishing for the best, are hoping for the best, let's put it that way. But they also know this is an uphill battle for the Suns. And the crowd, I thought, on Sunday kind of experienced that as well, at least in terms of excitement down there at the morgue. We'll talk about that. Diamondbacks were down in Mexico City. Mixed results. 1-1 against the Padres down there in Mexico City for the Mexico City series. Talk about that as well. The bigger issue for me coming out of that series, well, Tim Tawa's grand slam, fantastic. But obviously, it's the injuries that happened. Get you updates as we have them here, as well as, look, they're off today, traveling. They're going to go from Mexico City, travel to Milwaukee today, and they kick off a Milwaukee series tomorrow. We'll obviously talk about the Diamondbacks coming up on the show as well. Then we've got the national stuff, right? The rest of what's happening around the NBA, did you see that giant Nuggets-Timberwolves fight at the end? No suspensions, but definitely some big fines in that. Nuggets are in a lot of trouble. They fired their head coach last year in GM because of playoff performance. They said there was issues on that team. I don't think they're solved at all going into this series. It is an amazing thing to watch. Spurs get Wemby back. So we'll talk around the NBA as well. Of course, we'll look around Major League Baseball as well, besides what the Diamondbacks are doing. I hear Rockies are surprising some people this year as well. They've already got 13 wins. Last year they were 13-55 when they got their 13th win. A lot different year this year for the Rockies. So even the Rockies in this division aren't going to be an easy out as well. Then we got NHL hockey. Why? And we'll talk about, every series coming up. There's some great series. The Kings got swept by the Colorado Avalanche. Pretty sure that was going to happen. We talked about it last week. Uncle Lou last Thursday said Colorado doesn't want the extra time off. I agree. Extra time off can be a momentum killer for a lot of these teams, especially since Dallas, Minnesota is going to go 7. You're convinced of it, right? Definitely 6, obviously, maybe 7 now since they're tied 2-2. So that series is done there as well. Edmonton Oiler fans are all in an uproar here. Your Ducks, they're in Anaheim, which I am not a fan of the new orange jerseys and logos and stuff like that for the Ducks. But some Oiler fans are pretty upset after last night's game. We'll talk about that coming up as well around the sports world. So hopefully you had a good weekend. I was out, of course, at the Rattlers game on Saturday night. We cover them here at TME Media, and Coach Guy made some interesting decisions last week. Now we haven't talked a lot of Rattlers coming up. Dale's not calling the games for him this year. He doesn't watch them when they don't play, and of course I pretty much watch them all the time, even when they're on the road. And things to that effect. It's just a fun little environment here to pass some time. They were Saturday night, got the win. But Coach Guy did something that was kind of shocking when I noticed it on the field. And I noticed it for one specific reason. So we'll talk a little Rattlers coming up, as well as another hot start to the season with basically a completely revamped team this year as well for them. So we'll get a little bit into depth on that as well coming up. WWE had a bunch of cuts last week. The Wyatt Six are no longer part of that organization and things like that. And I know I can hear Dale now. Nobody cares. Dale doesn't care about. He always accuses me of not caring about 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th rounders in the NFL. It's even worse now with NIL. And I agree with all the stories and reporting out there. Get rid of the 5th and 6th and 7th round of the NFL draft. Get rid of it. You're drafting kids that. Kids are going back to school now to stay longer because they can make more money there. They'll make more money as a 5th, 6th rounder than you will as an undrafted free agent or a 5th or 6th rounder. Potvy is a good example of that, right? Vanderbilt star, undrafted free agent, made more money in college than he did. You're going to see talented kids that are normally be a 4th, 5th, or 6th, maybe 7th round draft pick. You're going to see them start staying in school longer for an extra year, which waters down the talent at that level. I am not in any way knocking the kids being drafted at that level. Not at all. But you're watering down the talent level because kids that normally would have gone pro now staying in school because they can make more money at college than they can going to the pro and be one of those late round draft picks from that side. Just lost a lot of interest in those late round picks. Well, of course, talk Cardinals and their draft weekend. We're going to do a lot of in-depth coverage tomorrow with Bruce Cooper, of course, local legend around here on the draft side of things, right? Called the Jonathan Love pick. Love Jonathan Love, or Jeremiah Love, excuse me. Jeremiah Love. Loved him. No pun intended. Got out there and we'll talk more about those picks for the Cardinals. We were texting back and forth over the weekend with the pick. He is not a fan of the Carson Beck pick. We said it here on Friday. I even said it because there was a rumor there they're going to take him in the 2nd round. And I was like, he'll be there in the 3rd. Why would you waste it in the 2nd? Then they actually took him in the 3rd round. And I was like, he might have been there in the 4th. Like, what are you doing? The opportunity lost in that 3rd round pick. You can still get quality guys that'll contribute to your team immediately this year in some capacity in the 3rd round. So that's what you're giving up by taking a Carson Beck. And we're going to get into Cardinals here right off the bat before we get into anything else in the draft. Here's the thing about the Cardinals draft. Well, first, 623-252-6670. Hit us up on our text line. Like a lot of you do out there. We love to see the interactions and your comments out there. Hit us up, of course, at TME Sports Show as well on X. We'd appreciate that. And if you know, we're doing some testing and things. We're still continuing that here this week as well and everything. We're going to be continuing to test it out there. If you know what I'm talking about. We're not ready to announce anything yet, but TME Media AZ is our parent company. And it's where we do all of our production stuff, not just for the shows you see at Robot TV or on the YouTube page or Rumble page. We do other stuff out there as well. We produce some shows that go out to other entities. We produce them, we send them to them, and they put them out, stuff like that. So TME Media AZ on Twitter. Well, follow us on X. That'll get us where we get the programming notes. Later on today, I'll have the programming for the rest of the week there for you. The only thing that's changing is Wednesday. It'll be a short show on Wednesday because of family things on the other side of town. But follow TME Media AZ for those reasons there. But also on YouTube. If you catch my drift here, you want to like and subscribe the YouTube page as well. You can hit up comments there as well while we're live here at Robot TV, 8 to 10 a.m. There you go. Can't hit it any better than that out there. Cardinals draft is kind of where I wanted to start the show here on this Monday. And again, appreciate you joining us out there. We got grades from a bunch of different entities. It seems like everybody seems to be in the same thought process with the Cardinals over the overall draft side. Some interesting things. Howard Balzer is a great follow on X if you follow him. He says the Cardinals were the only team, 32 teams, Cardinals were the only ones that had no trades of any other picks, and they used all of their original selections. Everybody else had either had a selection that wasn't theirs, it was a trade earlier, either a couple years ago, last year or two, or traded this year, or you traded this year. A lot of trades this year out there. A lot of rumors of the Cardinals wanting to trade around this year. None of it happened. Cardinals the only team with no trades of any picks and used all their original selections. That's amazing to me. Just because of all the rumors of the Cardinals wanting to trade down, wanting to trade up into the first round, and all of that talk out there. Shocking stat there that Howard Balzer gives us as well. It's just, you just sit back and go, interesting. So if you don't know, Cardinals NFL draft class, and we'll talk about the Carson Beck and kind of what I was thinking about this weekend and the possibility for Carson Beck. We have precedent of a Carson Beck type player being drafted in the NFL recently. It's had some success out there, folks. We're going to talk about that coming up. But first, throw up the graphic on the Arizona Cardinals 2026 draft class. We get this from your Arizona Cardinals as well. Jeremiah Love, obviously, in the first round there. Chase Basanis in the second round from Texas A&M. Carson Beck there in the third, quarterback. Look, he's got the pedigree. National championships at Georgia, success at Miami. His big knock, turnovers. Well, this year at Miami went from 20-something a year. This year only had like 11, I think, at Miami this year. He's settled down a lot. And I'm a big Carson Beck fan. I just don't know if he's going to move into that class of quarterback that's going to have a long career. Then you go with Kalen Proctor. Next up, Reggie Virgil, which Bruce Cooper loved the Reggie Virgil pick there. Now you got Carson Scherer and then Jaden Williams here to wrap up your 2026 Arizona Cardinals NFL draft class out there. Well, of course, we're going to break down a lot of this talk tomorrow with Bruce Cooper for a lot of these guys. So we're going to save a lot of the breakdown on them, where they can fit in and stuff like that. Here's my take on Carson Beck. As I said, got the pedigree. His major knock was turnovers for a lot of years. It's national championship games and losses as well out there. But this year, as I told you, he had I just looked it up. It was 11 turnovers, interceptions this year. So he brought it down from the 20 range, upper, mid-20s, lower 20 range, got it down to 11 last year. He curtailed that. I even said going into the playoffs last year, Carson Beck's going to take this Miami team as far as he can. He's going to do it. It's going to come down to, is Carson Beck of turnovers going to happen, or is Carson Beck of the Georgia championship years going to come and rear its ugly head? Carson Beck performed. They got as far as they did, and we moved on from that perspective at that point. Now he's an Arizona Cardinals. There was a guy. My expectation of Carson Beck is, I mean, my brain is like racing on how to set this up for you. Carson, or excuse me, Beck is a guy that, like I said, he's got prototypical. You look at him, he can sling the football. He can throw it into tight windows. He can make smart decisions. Is he a guy that will be anything bigger? I compared him last week to Jacoby Brissett. He's better than Jacoby Brissett will be in his career. He's going to be a guy that's going to get an opportunity to start in this league at times. Does he take advantage of it to where he can then step up and keep that starting job moving forward? Or, a la Brissett, does he not perform to the level and you always think you can find somebody better, so you're always replacing him and things to that effect? That's kind of where I stand with Beck. Which way is he going to go? Well, it's up to him. I do think he's more of, like I said, a Brissett type quarterback coming into this league. But then I was sitting back yesterday, and we'll talk to Bruce Cooper about this tomorrow. I was sitting back yesterday. Let me adjust my glasses here so I look even smarter when I'm about to say this. There was a guy a couple years ago from Oregon. Transferred from a big school, went up to Oregon, played college for a lot of years, a la Carson Beck. It felt like he was 17 years in the college programs. Got drafted high there for the Denver Broncos. High for his position for the Denver Broncos. Had a pretty good standout rookie season there in 2024. Played well last year, got them to the AFC playoffs, got them on a run there, broke his ankle, of course, not able to continue on. Not his fault there as well as he comes into this stuff. Carson Beck could be the next Bo Nix. What do I mean by that? Say what you want about Bo Nix. He performs out there, he works within the offense, and he has some success on the football field and finds the guys, keeps the offense moving, limits turnovers and stuff like that. Here's what I mean by Beck. Is it possible Carson Beck could come in here, win the job, and get a lot of starts this year? Perform decent enough that he's your starting quarterback moving forward while you run a defense, while you build up a defense? Do we have a Denver Broncos model happening here in Arizona? Do we? Is Beck the next Bo Nix? Not a guy that you're going to say is top of the quarterback class, number one, number two. No Josh Allen. But he wins, gets his team to the positions in the playoffs. An injury. I believe the Broncos were going to make the Super Bowl this year. Injuries to the quarterback. What was a broken ankle, I believe, on that side? Is Bo Nix the blueprint for Carson Beck here for your Arizona Cardinals? Where they might not have been talking about Ty Simpson in that press conference. They could have been talking about Beck, folks. They could have been talking about Beck. Guy that's been in big games, plays for big schools, played in big moments. All things Monty said in that press conference pre-draft. Check, check, and check for Beck. Played in the heck of a pro system there. Check. High pressure games, not a problem. Check. Do we have a Bo Nix blueprint that the Cardinals are looking at to follow here? He can come in here. Beck can come in here. Does he win this job right out? Do they kind of let him sit there for 3 or 4 games and let Jacoby Brissett sit there? This is a situation more so than Ty Simpson in my eyes. But I do like Beck a lot more than I like Simpson. Does Beck come in here and they try to utilize him like Bo Nix, folks? Think about this. The Bo Nix story, drafted. Everybody went, Broncos take a Bo Nix? Wins the job. Heck of a rookie season. Built on it last year. Has his up and downs. Lots of turnovers his first year. Wasn't great his first year. Not even very good in his first year. But had a good enough for a rookie in his draft class to get up there and get it. I'm not saying this is the way to go if you're the Cardinals. but it worked for Denver. Can it work for the Cardinals? Is this even a possibility? Am I overthinking this? Probably. Probably. It just hits me. Everybody's like poo pooing the Carson Beck pick. And I'm just sitting there yesterday morning, hanging back, sitting around, and Bruce Cooper texted me and he hated the Carson Beck pick. Hated it. I agree. Third round, you lost an opportunity. Could he have been there later? It's possible, you know. The Cardinals wanted him for a reason in that third pick. So much so that an ESPN guy in his mock draft on Friday said Cardinals were taking him with that 34th pick. There was smoke there. There was fire there with that smoke. And there's a blueprint in this league of taking a guy that had all that success in college, plugging him into a pro system with receivers, with running backs, with a pretty good offensive line, and a really good defense. And having success with Sean Payton. Now, is LaFleur Sean Payton? Let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy right now. This is fascinating to me, folks, if you think about this. Sit back and think about this. I've heard nobody else talking about this. I was all over the socials all weekend watching a ton of draft stuff last night, getting caught up on stuff. So I'm not saying nobody's talked about it. I'm not saying that, I'm a mad genius here or just a crazy person. Figure this just hit me as this is a possibility of what the Cardinals are looking at. And if it's going to work with a specific quarterback, it's going to work with Carson Beck. Fascinating to see here. Is this kind of why everybody thought it was Ty Simpson? I can understand Jacoby Brissett now saying, there's the possibility we're drafting somebody in this draft that's going to take over my spot. Come in here and do it. In my eyes, Carson Beck could be that guy. Especially now you added a huge weapon with Love. We talked about it on draft night on our draft special. And thank you for you guys that went back and watched the draft special on the podcast, on YouTube as well, on Rumble. You guys went back. I was like, nobody's watching a 3-hour draft show. Going back and watching it. Oof, boy, was I wrong. Robat TV. You guys all hit this thing up, man. 3-hour show. I'm not saying everybody watch 3 hours. You can fast forward or whatever. It's fascinating. Robert says here on the YouTube chat here, we'll have to give LaFleur time before we judge the Beck pick. Not really sure about his ability to develop a QB, but if it was still pending, we know it would be a disaster. Well, that is 100% correct. We don't know how LaFleur is going to be. It's his first head coaching gig. The thing that gives me the excitement about him, though, when you hire Jonathan Gannon, defensive coordinator at the Eagles, was struggling with the Eagles. The Eagle fans were tired of him. But look who his head coach was there. LaFleur is the first coach with no experience to come in for the Cardinals. You go back to 2019 with that guy who had the 1 year. You weren't excited about him coming in and being coach. You weren't excited about Cliff coming in and being coach. Cliff was at Texas Tech and just struggled there. LaFleur's the one coach coming in here with no experience. I said it when they hired him or when they were talking about hiring him. I said he's the guy that you can get excited about as a first-year head coach because he comes from a coaching tree you can get excited about. John McVay up in San Francisco as well. Fascinating. Oh, my God. The reporters in San Fran, by the way, are just telling John Lynch what a bad drafter he is. He is not happy they're doing it. That is a fascinating thing to watch. We'll have to hit that up at some point this week. What the media up there in San Fran is doing in terms of calling the 49ers draft a disaster. It is a fascinating thing to watch. So I agree. I mean, he's got to have time on the Beck pick. But am I far off on this blueprint that we could see here? I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying with Ty Simpson, I didn't even think this could possibility to happen. Ty Simpson to me was going to come in, Maybe gets play if the Cardinals are terrible at the beginning there. Brissett would start 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And then if it's not going well, then you give Ty Simpson a chance to go in there and get some practice, whatever. I can see Carson Beck winning this job in camp. I could see Carson Beck coming in here, doing that, and starting the season, and you'll have your ups and downs. Don't get me wrong; it's not going to be all roses, just like it was with Bo Nix and Dallas. Now the difference is Denver, way better defense than the Cardinals have, and it's not even close. So, wanted to float that out there on the Carson Beck side of things. I'm not gonna lie to you, little excited to see what happens with him. Am I excited Jacoby Brissett's the starting quarterback? I like Jacoby Brissett. I do. It wasn't Jacoby Brissett's fault the Cardinals lost. They went 1-11 with him as a starter last year. But he wasn't to the Kyler Murray level to where he could get you some more wins. That's the difference between a starter in the league and a guy that's a perennial backup with occasional starts. Same thing with Gardner Minshew. They'll get you a couple wins, but you need them to play 14 games. You're losing more of those games than you win. They do not have what it takes to get you over that hump and will you to win games. Consistently throughout the season. Carson Beck does. He does. Look what he did. Went from winning championships at one school to taking his team to the playoffs in a deep run at another school. If anything, Carson Beck has a better pedigree than Bo Nix did in college. Now, Bo Nix had a lot of success also in the SEC before he went to Oregon. It's fascinating. I'm fascinated by this story. I can't wait to see what happens. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying, oh my God, Carson Beck's there. I'm not saying that at all. This is the possibility that popped into my mind of what could happen. And if you're going to struggle this year anyway, if you're going to try to develop guys this year anyway, you know what you have with Brissett and Gardner Minshew. I go back, my brain just keeps running through that pre-draft press conference on the quarterback side. That pre-draft press conference told you and me and everybody as a fan, Cardinals aren't happy with their quarterback room. They want to improve it. Rightfully so. They should want to improve it. They don't have a generational starting quarterback that you need in this league. This is going to be fun to watch, man. Let's see what happens with Carson Beck. Everybody's going to call me crazy. I guarantee you, Bruce Cooper is going to drive me crazy, call me crazy tomorrow, that I'm even thinking this possibility that happened. I already know his thoughts. We were texting about the Beck move earlier today as well. Something fun to keep an eye on here going into the season. I don't know. Dare I say, gives me a little bit of hope going into this season on the quarterback side as well. Like I said, it's not going to be all roses. Carson Beck's going to struggle this year at times. If he started every game, he's going to struggle at times. Things to that effect. Where was Bo Nix drafted? What was his draft pick? Where was he drafted here? I think it was high in the first round, I believe. I know it was the first round, but was it? Yeah, number 12 in the first round. So we are talking a little bit of a difference. This is where people are going to call me crazy because I'm talking about a third round guy, right? Coming in and being what a 12th draft pick is. Nobody thought Bo Nix was the 12th overall pick. Nobody. But what Sean Payton did was he said, that kid's right for my system. I believe LaFleur is a head coach when his tenure is done here, whenever that is, 3 years, 7 years, 10 years. I believe the one thing that we will say about Mike LaFleur is we're going to say he tailored his system around his guys. He's not going to be a Drew Pensing or Jonathan Gannon that says, this is my system, you play in my system, which hurt Kyler Murray in my eyes.
Kyler Murray wasn't adjusting to that system ever. He needed the freewheeling Cliff Kingsbury type system, is what he needed. One thing we will say about the LaFleur tenure here is he put the players in the right decision, right places, and the right fundamentals for them to go out and play well. Then it's up to the players at that point. Do you have the talent? Can you get the right talent in and stuff like that? So I don't know. There you go. There's my Carson Beck thoughts. There is the blueprint's there, man. It is. It's right, staring us right in the face. Fascinating to see. Draft selections from the Big 12 Conference. We'll get to grades here in just a minute as well. Because after the Jeremiah Love one, it was interesting to see the people that were giving the Cardinals D's and F's because you took a running back third and the running back shouldn't get paid that much or whatever. But now that we have the all 7 rounds in place, some interesting things on the grades. But draft selections from the Big 12 Conference. Congratulations, Arizona State. 2 in the first round, as you know, Max, the offensive lineman, and Jordan Tyson to the New Orleans Saints. Texas Tech had 9 draft picks. Cincinnati also had 4. Arizona had 4 when it was all said and done. But obviously, Arizona State with the 2 first-rounders, kind of a big deal as well. Then you got guys like Abney, right, and some really good safeties and cornerbacks that I really like. Signing as undrafted free agents as well coming up. Of course, a couple getting drafted there on the last day, and then some undrafted free agents going out there. You're going to see some of these Arizona State secondary guys make some noise in the NFL, even if it's special teams at the beginning, because they just have the heart, man, the will out there. It's going to be fun to watch those guys. But 4 for Arizona. TCU has 3. Utah has 3. Kansas, Baylor, Kansas State, BYU had 2. Houston 1, Iowa State 1, Central Florida 1. That was a first rounder as well at Central Florida. Colorado and Oklahoma State 0. Is it time for the Dion experience there in Colorado to just end? It's coming up, right? Next year or so. It makes a lot of money out there. Their spring game still had a huge, huge attendance compared to the past. But it was also way down from the last couple of years' expectations. Nobody drafted. A couple guys drafted last year, including the slide of Shedeur there as well. Interesting. What's happening up there in Colorado, if you want to look on the college side of things. So I just wanted to bring up the Big 12 side, what we're looking at as well. So I'm seeing some things trending right now that are just catching my eye that are interesting out there. Don't forget, hit us up, 623-252-6670. Nope, and actually, I just noticed I don't have the text line up on my screen. Let me load that up here really quick as well as we are talking about the text line, 623-252-6670. Couple people, we get text in here. A couple people don't want, obviously we don't give your phone numbers out. Just don't want to be known that they say it and stuff like that. And one guy goes, somebody goes, your Carson Beck take is a reach. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm not saying it's not a reach. I'm saying I'm sitting back as a possibility that could happen. A guy that people just aren't high on and disappointed about. I'm not even saying he's your future over the next couple years. Sitting here right now, I'm telling you, Carson Beck's going to get some playing time this year. Gardner Minshew's still hurt, right? And when's he going to be available to play? But we know what Gardner and we know what Jacoby Brissett are. Cardinals are 1-4, 1-5. And that offense is moving the ball, but it's not scoring touchdowns. Carson Beck has a good camp. Throw him out there, see what can happen. Carson Beck's getting some playing time this year, folks. Something to just keep in mind as we go forward. Draft grades out there. Sporting News. I'm going to call it a Sporting News obscure, but I went to the Sporting News. It used to be a bigger publication, especially around baseball. lost its luster over the years, but I went to them because I just wanted to see kind of what their side of it is, right? They're not the Athletic, they're not ESPN and those types of companies. They have the Cardinals with a B for their draft picks here as well. Who do they have as A's? A lot of teams as A's, by the way, is what they got. You got the Bears, Lions, Green Bay. A's are A minuses. They have the Cowboys as A. I like the Cowboys draft. This is the first draft in a long time I've sat back and said Cowboys drafted properly. Panthers, they have an A. Buccaneers an A. Kansas City an A. Raiders an A. Mm, 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 mm. Chargers A minus. Titans an A plus. Just to give you an idea who they have as A's. Cardinals are B's. 49ers B minus. Like I said, the media up there in 49ers land is not happy with their draft. Again, they tend to be that way. But Sporting News has them as a B minus. LA Rams, Sporting News has them as a D. A D. Ouch. Let's just put it that way. Ouch, right? Is what we're looking at there. They also have Seattle, since they're in the same division, as a B plus here as well. Then we can go to the Athletic. Now, what they did was they ranked the drafts based off of 1 through 32 is what they did. Instead of doing, at least this guy did it here, Dane Brugler. He did a 1 through 32. He had the Cleveland Browns as the number one team in terms of their draft season. That would be an A, obviously, right, going forward. Interesting. By the way, Denzel Boston, we all know this, Mike Greenberg. You should have known it as well, Mike Greenberg. Greeny. You should know. Denzel Boston is not related to David Boston. Throwing it out there. They had the Giants as number 2. Interesting enough on the NFL ranking side of things as they rank that side. I saw Arvell Reese taking a lot of heat from people online because they asked him about like charities and how it'll be like working with kids and, kids of needs and stuff like that. And his response was, I don't know how to answer that at this time. And people are jumping just all over him on that. He probably doesn't know the programs that the people are talking about there in New York and stuff like that. Probably needs to get more info. Now, can you be more polished and answer it and say, "Oh, I'm looking forward to working with these agencies and the excitement I have working with kids and there's a way you can do it." I don't necessarily have a problem with what he said either, because but people were losing their minds this weekend. Raiders are third on the Athletic list as well. By the way, Raiders took at the 38th pick of the second round. Treydon Stukes there from Arizona, the safety. Kid makes amazing plays. I give Bruce Cooper a hard time. He wanted the Cardinals to draft him on his first mock draft. Came off of it. Did go back onto him here after the first round ended. Wanted him back with the Cardinals as well. Made that unbelievable play where he made up 10 yards in the Territorial Cup. Went up, out-jumped the receiver, one-handed caught it, interception, as the Sun Devils were driving down the field to try to come back into that game. Is officially a Las Vegas Raider now as well. Treydon Stukes for him in that second round, draft number 38. I think he's going to be one heck of a safety. I give him a hard time because of that play. I think he's going to be one heck of a safety in the NFL. I'm looking forward to watching him play there. And luckily he's close to us here in Las Vegas, right? But we'll be able to see him on that side. They have the Dallas Cowboys as 4 in their draft pick. Then in the top 5, they have the New York Jets. David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon. Omar Cooper Jr. are their top 3 draft picks. They got Cade Klubnik as a quarterback there in the 4th round. Cade Klubnik last year, I did find, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, finding the way too early pick last year. I found Mel Kiper's. I was able to dig it up. It's amazing. He had Cade Klubnik as one of the top quarterbacks, possibly a number 1 draft pick at the end of last year, at the beginning of the end of the draft last year, before going into this year's season. Played Cade Klubnik from Clemson. Went fourth round, folks, to the Jets. I do not like him as a quarterback, but I wish him luck in New York. See what happens there. They have Tampa Bay at 6, Philadelphia Eagles at 7. They got Kansas City Chiefs at 8. Just what we need, the Chiefs getting up there as well. And replenishing their players. Miami Dolphins, they have drafting 9th. Then they have the New Orleans Saints at 10 there. Of course, Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State there. Here's the interesting thing about the Saints. Like, where's New Orleans at? Louisiana. Obviously, Arizona State, a little far away from Louisiana. They took second round Georgia player, Christian Miller, defensive tackle. They took a Georgia player in round 3, Oscar Delp. They took an Auburn player, Jeremiah Wright, there in the 4th. Then they went away from it a little bit, North Dakota State. Then they went Ohio State with Styles Jr. safety. Then they went LSU. And then Iowa after that. Here's my question for the Saints. Did they just scout right there in their neighborhood? Georgia, because Auburn and Georgia, obviously. Alabama, right, is what I mean. Georgia and Alabama. Louisiana. Like, did they just scout in their area? That's kind of my question. Where are the Cardinals in the athletic number of draft picks here in terms of that? It seems to be where I'm seeing the Cardinals a lot here after this NFL draft. Right in the middle. 15. Now, I know it's not right in the middle. 16 technically would be. But the Athletic has the Cardinals draft picks as 15th. Like I said, they didn't do rankings. They just ranked them 1 through 32 on who was the best drafters and who was the worst. They have the Cardinals at 15th, which is basically right in the middle point. They love the Jeremiah Love pick. They say Caleb Proctor, the defensive tackle from Southern Louisiana, they said that he could be a surprise day 3 pick there as well. They also like Reggie Virgil, Carson Sharer as well for special teams. But they do like it, but they have him 15th as well. Who are the worst teams out there, that draft picked? New England Patriots, by the way, were 20th, their head coach. Rumors were he was involved with the draft picks when he was supposed to be at counseling. Whatever. Buffalo Bills, 22. Chargers, 21, according to The Athletic. Texans, 23. Cincinnati Bengals, 24. Oof. Seattle Seahawks, they have 25th in terms of the draft. 25th out of 32, the Seattle Seahawks. Green Bay Packers, 26th. San Francisco 49ers, 27th. Keep in mind, Cardinals were 15th. The 49ers, the Seahawks, just plugging holes on really good teams is what they need to do. And they're being ranked down. You saw that on the Sporting News one we talked about. D's and then a D for the Rams as well out there. By the way, Minnesota Vikings, 29th. Your Rams, 30th. Cardinals, at least according to most of the rankings in the division, won this draft in their division. What does that mean? Nothing. Because here's the other thing that's shocking, though. Those teams are plugging holes. The Niners, the Rams, the Seahawks. All won, 12, 13 games last year? Plugging holes on their team. And according to a lot of these rankings, they just had a terrible draft out there. I find it interesting. Some of the worst drafts out there is what people are saying as well. I find it very fascinating out there as well. When we come back here, we'll take a quick break. Come on back. Just keep talking Cardinals draft compared to the rest of the league from the national perspective. How did they do? I thought the Cardinals draft did pretty well. If it's not an A, it's a high B. But it's not an A+. It's an A- maybe. They filled the holes they needed. They have some players that should come in and be able to contribute. They need to come in healthy and stuff, right? I love what Love is going to do to this offense as well. Come on back. Main event. Keep it rolling. And welcome back here to the main event. I'm Stephen McCollum, your humble host. 17-year NFL veteran Del Hellestrae, he's off for the next couple days. Be back on Thursday here before he heads off to his normal hit there over at KUPD as well. Doing a golf outing, class of 1980. They do a little, all the guys get together there, do a little golf trip to Palm Springs. And I saw that, I just actually checked Facebook here during that break, and I saw the picture. They're all in the, I call it the van. We'll call it the old man van, and they're all headed there, of course, to Palm Springs and now to get a few days of golf in and have fun over there. So we'll get him back later on in the week here if he survives it coming up for him. It's going to be fun. But I got you today. Me and Bruce Cooper tomorrow. Bruce will be in, his normal time frame to do tomorrow. Wednesday, just another programming note, heads up. Wednesday, we'll be here. I'll call him on business at 7, main event at 8. But it will be a shortened show without Dale being here. I have a family thing to do, ROTC, for my senior Ethan, of course, in high school. Has a big awards ceremony there on Wednesday at 10:30. And I got to go and obviously support him and everything. So we'll do a short show. It'll be at least 8 to 9 a.m. Might go just a little bit longer depending on how it's going here as well. And then I've got that 45-minute, 50-minute drive across town to go to his event as well coming up. So just a little program, Thursday's back to normal. Friday's back to normal as well. So Thursday with Lou coming in also. So stay with us all week. We're, of course, having a fun out there as well. And we appreciate you guys coming along the journey as well. Really quick here as I'm pulling up my stuff. I'm just like in this giant mess ball. Robert says, aren't these grades based on if they agreed with the pre-draft analysis by said grader? A lot of them are, Robert. Some of them, they adjusted based off of if you feel needs. Some of them are, did you feel your needs? Some of them are based off of, like I said, there's a couple out there. I didn't focus on. There's a couple out there that have the Cardinals like C and Ds. But again, that's because Jeremiah Love at $50 million for a 4-year deal, they feel it's too expensive for a running back. So they've downgraded the Cardinals because I ignore those types of drafts. But yes, the drafts are influenced by that as well. So there. Robert also says, with regard to Reese, you can't hold a 20-year-old to any comment as long as he's not being a jerk. Most 20-year-olds are dumbasses. Some like me never predict progress. Robert, I do this for a living. I say a lot of stupid, ridiculous stuff. So I got you, buddy. Oh, my God. Guys, well, yeah, we got to get into this. I don't know if we'll do it today. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow. I got in this Facebook battle with this lady. I know. I'm so cool. I know. Not even a battle. But I couldn't believe what she was saying. Like, I'm so disgusted by her. She actually changed my view on a side that I had before about high school athletics in a specific school in a specific district. She actually changed my mind. I'm glad they were fired now. Just because she is such a biatch that I don't think people like her need to be involved. And then I found out who she was. She's the sister of one of the guys that's in the controversy. She completely, her and her friend, her realtor friend, completely changed my mind. I'm glad they're out of a job. If that's their family members, oh my God, we got to get into this. We'll get into this some other time. Maybe I'll get the screenshots over to Kobe and we'll cover it later on. Maybe I'll do a special. Don't be an a-hole. Don't be a Joe. If you remember our buddy Joe Decker over there at Classic Collision. Don't be a Joe. That's the segment we should call this, when people are certifiable a-holes out there. Yeah. Like, they literally changed my opinion. I'm glad her brother got fired at this point. If she's this way, oh my God, I can only imagine what he's like at a high school. I know. Out of context, you guys are all like, what? But yeah, the Reese thing, I should have saved that out. I was actually so upset about it. I'm not like so upset where I was like pissed, but I was just like, this is ridiculous, the people knocking this game. If you missed it earlier, I said Arvell Reese was asked about, in his press conference, was asked about working with underprivileged kids. There's some programs they do there for the Giants, underprivileged kids and things to that effect. And his response was, I don't have an answer for you that right now. And people just, all over social media. He doesn't care about kids. He's a selfish jerk. He might not know about those programs. He needs to learn about them. Anyway, it just can't win or lose. Now, he could have handled it better. I'm not saying he couldn't have handled it better. But for the people jumping on him like that, it's just like, dude, slow your roll here, Tigers. Let the kid get into the team. Let the kid who was just drafted, let him get in there, learn the programs that they do to support. Then if he comes out and says he doesn't want to support him, then we can knock him. How about that? But let's let him learn about it first. But like I said, he could have been more polished and ready to go on that question. I wish I should have saved that video for you guys, but I didn't. Next up, though, we got, we're talking just mock draft grades and things to that effect around the NFL here as well. So really quick, ESPN had the Cardinals as a B. Mel Kiper has the Cardinals as a B as well. You know, the needs entering the draft: quarterback, right tackle, edge rusher, wide receiver, and guard. I mean, they filled those roles. Whether they're going to work out or not is another side of it as well from that side. So they, Mel Kiper goes in, kind of what you talked about, just kind of the expectation: take Love or trade down. So if you're going into your rating of the draft and you think the Cardinals should have traded down, well, you're going to be obviously, you're going to look at them differently than if they're taking Jeremiah Love and that was your move. So there you go. But overall, good results here. B's, it looks like, are the most common grades for your Arizona Cardinals. But around the division, Seahawks aren't rated very high. 49ers weren't rated very high. B's as well. B- for the Niners for most case. But the Rams are getting lambasted today for their drafting. I wish I could draft as bad as the Rams and be that good. Because the Cardinals draft terribly a lot of years. And they ain't that good. They aren't that good. Let's get to that point, right? As we talk about that. A couple more NFL stuff coming up for you here in the second hour. Then, of course, we got baseball, Suns talk as well. Come back and join us, would you? Or join me, I should say, would you? Coming back, second hour main event coming up next. And we're back here, second hour main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and of course, 17-year NFL veteran, Dale Hellestrey. Excuse me. He's off today. Look at me get all choked up because he's off today. He's off a high school reunion with the boys over there in Palm Springs doing some golfing for the next 3 days. We'll be back after this later on in the week as well. But just really quick, I got to talk to Kobe here as we start our second hour. Just let me know if it does come through, Kobe. If not, we'll do it during the break, Kobe, if you don't get it. I'm just getting some extra videos over to Kobe as we're talking about stuff and things to that. Like, for instance, I got the Arvell Reese audio that we'll get to Kobe as well. And a little fun thing that happened yesterday over there at Talladega as well. I'll just show you, setting you up for the pit stop this week as well. So, he says he got that one. So we're good to go here. So when we get to that, Kobe, we'll obviously deal that as well. So just talking some NFL draft out there. Did you guys see? And we'll get more in depth on the Cardinals tomorrow with Bruce Cooper as well. As I said, he is a fantastic. He's in depth on these picks. We were texting all weekend. He's all excited for some of the picks, not the Beck one. But if you missed my talk here at the beginning of the show, I could see a certain scenario for Carson Beck coming up that Bo Nix like here in terms of a blueprint for him coming up as well. So it's going to be something fun to watch here. I think it gives me some hope. I think my problem is I have no hope the Cardinals are going to do anything decent this year with their current quarterback situation. And I like Brissett. I love Gardner Minshew. But we know what they are. Kobe, heads up, I just sent you another one as well. The Arvell Reese video. So I did get the Arvell Reese video. I'll get that over to you guys. I will play that when Kobe gets it as well. So you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. Because like right here, for instance, here's one site. Yikes. New York Giants rookie linebacker Arvell Reese refused to answer how he will make an impact on the disabled veteran and children community in the NFL. Right there. Well, first of all, he answers it. He just didn't like the answer as well, right? And stuff like that. So you see a lot of people talking like that. Now, the phrase he refused to answer, it's wrong. So that makes him look bad on that side. But then I saw people jumping on him, he didn't have an answer to it. So if you don't know what we're talking about here, let's hit it up here at the top of this part here. Here's Arvell Reese during his press conference yesterday, right now.
Thanks for being here. Tom Long over here from the Disability Channel and with the veterans. What are you looking forward to make an impact in the NFL working with the Salute to Service and the children this year? Where are you looking to make an impact?
Ask that one more time.
Where are you looking to make an impact in the veteran community and the disability with the children this year for the NFL?
I have it. I don't know how to answer that right now.
What's wrong with that answer? Why is he being dogged? I get it. The guy that asked the question, that's his job. He's ready to go on it. Why is he being dogged right now? Now, he could have been more polished. I told you. He could have been more polished. There's no doubt about it. I don't know. I don't know what my options are. I don't know what I'm able to do. He's like, I don't even know what my practice schedule is right now. I don't even know what my workout schedule is going to be. Can I get those answers too, by the way? I get it. Just stop. Just stop being jerks to people, man. Just stop it. Nothing wrong with that for a young kid. At least he answered and said that. But I digress. Hey, the other fun thing that happened this weekend as well as we, get more into the NFL draft tomorrow. Mike Tomlin talked his Steelers exit yesterday. Did you see this on NBC as well? He talked more about, it's like a 3.5 minute clip. I'm not going to play the whole thing for you. I didn't break it up either. But the big thing out of this was simply, I think Mike Tomlin can be very personable if he wants to be. Now, he acted a certain way in his press conferences the last several years, very standoffish, very smart alecky, stuff to that effect. I don't think he's really that way. I just think that's the persona he put out there, a la Bill Belichick, a la Nick Saban, who actually turns out to be a really good TV guy, I think. I think he's one of the best, Saban. Shows his personality that he has one out there. Jimmy Johnson was that way as well, where Jimmy Johnson, Cowboys, just mean, stickly, showed some personality, right? When he was on the Fox broadcast. Didn't think he was one of the best. I know Dale doesn't. But he was definitely out there and stuff to that effect. But he told, I think it was Maria Taylor on NBC last night. I think it was Maria Taylor. I apologize if it wasn't. And he says he walked away because of the recent lack of playoff success and his belief that some of his veterans were, quote, worthy of the excitement and the optimism associated with new leadership, unquote. Like Tomlin's admitting his failures in the playoffs had him walk away. Didn't think he could improve the situation at all. Mike Tomlin just thought that was it. We're going to make the playoffs, lose in the first round, and move on. Oh, dear God. Did you see the Baltimore Ravens? It was a foreign, they called it, she was a foreign lady. I believe she was British or something. But she did the pick for the Ravens. I think it was on Saturday, the big day. And she walked up there. It's one of those, things that they do for the draft. And she goes up there and she goes, I'll keep this quick, like your playoff runs. To the Steelers fans. Pettiness. I love it. I love it. Tomlin said it's probably not an overnight decision, but it's probably not something that I could articulate or share with people. There's a loneliness with leadership. I just thought it was a good time for me personally, and by that I mean just where I am in life. And I thought it was a good time for the organization, to be quite honest with you. We didn't have a lot of success in the playoffs in recent years, was his exact quote. First of all, that's an amazing look into your life and your career. How many guys would just stay there as first-round playoff losses, trying to improve it? How many would just continue to do that and take the money and all of that stuff? Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2016. I mean, he's willing to stay there for 10 years, not winning a playoff game. That's the limit, though, as well. So it's interesting, just an interesting introspective here of Mike Tomlin, at least now why he's saying he stepped away now. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I find that admirable if that is the reason why he stepped away. Now, doesn't that go against everything competitive nature and stuff to that effect? That tells me he hasn't had that competitive nature for several years. That tells me he was content at being the coach of the Steelers for a bunch of years. That's what that tells me. That tells me he had no fight. He had no desire to try to improve that team and win it. It was just, let's go through the motions, get to the first round of the playoffs, lose, and go home. I might be reading some into that, but that's how I feel about it. In terms of Mike Tomlin as well for him. And but I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing introspective. But why after 10 years did you feel that way? Why not after year 5, year 6 when you couldn't do anything? Fascinating to get in the mind of these ultra high competitors in my eyes as well from that side. Other things that happened this weekend, folks. Look, I'm just going to tell you right now. Indoor Football League, and I know there's a new one starting at Mullet. They have their first home game this year, the Juggernauts. It's another step down from the Indoor Football League. It's playing at the Mullet. But the Rattlers are still out there, and they went to Glendale. And I get it. If you don't know, we've done a lot of work with the Rattlers over the years. At this show, Dale's not calling the games this year and everything, but I am, still covering them and talking to them and things to that effect. I catch all the home games. I watch the road games as well and stuff like that. And I get it. I hear from a lot of fans out there. It's not the same since they moved to Glendale. And I get it, man. There's Monster Jam on Saturday. I didn't even know. I got stuck in traffic you would not believe getting out there. I was almost late to the game, and I left an hour and a half early because of traffic to get there. I get it. It ain't easy to get out there, especially those of us on the east side of town, right? This was a fun game on Saturday night. And we got to give it. I wanted to make you aware of a few of these players here. The team has been completely overhauled. Everybody on defense, I'm pretty sure everybody on defense are rookies. If there is anybody not a rookie, they're only a second-year player or something to that effect. But I'm pretty sure the defense is all rookies. On the offensive side, it's been completely rolled over. 75% of the roster has been retooled by these Rattlers. It's not because I felt the last couple years, and we've talked about it here on this program, I felt the last couple years they're just sticking with veterans, waiting for veterans to come back. And you saw guys, it's tough to say just there for a paycheck, but not having the youthful energy they had in the past. Let's put it that way. As they were older and stuff. Those guys are all gone. This Rattlers team is fun to watch. They are 4-1 on the season now. Their only loss was to one of the best teams in the league, Fisher Freight in Indiana, which is a very hard place to play. Green Bay is fantastic. They are good to watch as well. San Diego's good with the Rattlers beat them to begin the game as well. They played the Tulsa Oilers over the weekend. Fantastic. Came down to the wire. Two things. Max Mailer. I loved the quarterback last year for the Rattlers. Yeah, just an amazing character out there throwing the ball, held himself to a certain standard. It was great to watch him play. Decided to hang him up and everything. And then we get, they bring in the guy that was finished second last year. They lost to Las Vegas in the championship game because he was like half an inch short from scoring a touchdown, Max Mailer. He throws a pretty ball out there, runs a lot, not afraid of contact. But there's other guys on this team you should be paying attention to as well. Just to give you an idea here, if you're interested in arena football as well. Arlen Bruce over the weekend, we talked to him after the game. Got a bunch of clips. We're going to start getting those out there on the YouTube pages and Rumble page in terms of interviews and stuff like that. We talked to them, of course, over on Saturday as well, getting one-on-one interviews with the players and, of course, Coach Guy, and get these guys out there. These guys are, I'm not going to say they had bad characters because that's just too harsh. That's not the case. But these guys are likable this year. Every player I've interacted with and every player I've met on this team is likable this year. Fantastic, man. It just makes it easier to root for him, right? Out there. But Arlen Bruce, 11 catches for 119 yards. We got to talk to him in the media room afterwards. Went to Iowa as well. Folks, he's catching balls. He's breaking tackles and fighting for it. Ron Brown Jr., running back, second year for him. I loved him last year. He was becoming a leader of this team last year. Ron Brown Jr. coming in, 7 carries, 45 yards for him in this game, which I know doesn't sound like a lot. 2 touchdowns for him as well. By the way, Arlen Bruce, 2 touchdowns as well. Corey Reed Jr., 6 catches, 62 yards. There's something about Corey Reed Jr. that perplexes me. Heck of a talent out there, folks. Every game, though, ball hits him in the hands and he just drops it. Happened twice in this game as well. I don't know what's going on there, right? But he does get out there, and he's a fantastic player to watch as well. Kamani Clark is making a name for himself out there as well. And it came down to the end where the Rattlers went down and scored. Arlen Bruce caught the game-winning, what ended up being the game-winning touchdown from Mailer. And then they did a 2-point conversion, took a 1-point lead. 3 seconds left, I believe it was. Yep, 3 seconds left as I look at my thing here after the kickoff. And, short field, obviously. The Tulsa Oilers go up and line up for a field goal. Obviously win the game if they make it. Guy shanks it. By the way, coming into this game, they're like 5 of 7 for field goals. Rattlers have taken like 3 field goal attempts all year. That's how many kicks the Tulsa Oilers try here in terms of field goals. And they made 5 of 7 coming into it. Now they made 1 and missed 2 in this game. But 3 seconds left, field goal, kicks it, misses it. The Rattlers return it. And if you catch it in the end zone, you have to return it in the IFL. So he does. At first, it looked like he was going to down it. I asked Coach about this during the game, after the game. He looked like he was going to down it, but he runs out of the end zone. He like falls to the ground and spins the ball. There was an Oiler player there and a Rattlers player there. The Rattlers player jumped on the ball. Oh, Lordy. They could have lost that game by the Oiler guy picking up that ball and stepping into that end zone based on that play as well. That would have been one heck of an ending for that game if that would have been recovered as a fumble as well. Woo-wee. And the guy that did it too is not a guy on this team, you know. Now Arlen Bruce usually is back there. He wasn't back there, you know, in that moment. There was a change of possession. He didn't get back out there. So of course, you know, the guy that was out there, number 12. I'm not going to name him because I don't want to shame him here. Made a mistake and everything, but obviously going to learn forward to moving forward. But my bigger thing I wanted to bring up about the Rattlers here, for those of you that are Rattlers fans and follows them over the years and things like that. Most of their games, by the way, are on Yahoo Sports this year. I think it's 3 or 4. They've already had one of them. I think there's 3 remaining that are on that overnight sports package, which you do have to pay for, which I get it. I understand it. It's $11.99 a month, whatever. But it's only 3 more, whatever. And I think the remaining ones on that one are on the road as well. But I digress. You can watch them on Yahoo Sports. Most of the league is on Yahoo Sports. Just a few of the games end up on that overnight sports package. The interesting thing happened, though, for those of you that have been long-term Rattlers fans. Kevin Guy has been the guy on the field, offense and defense, for as long as I remember. Even after the game, when we were talking to him, he said, one reason I got rid of coordinators out on the field, and I'm doing it, is because it's one voice with the players and things to that effect. We'll get these videos up later on today as well from the press conference and stuff like that. I'm just sitting there watching this game on Saturday night. And it just, something feels different while I'm watching it. You know, I'm charting the game. I write down every play as I go through it and stuff like that. So a play happens. I'm looking down and I'm writing some stuff. You know, we got Autumn there as well. She's a statistician and does that penalties, keeps track of the penalties, and does a fantastic job. Autumn does of helping cover this team and things to that effect. We love doing it. It's fun to do. And I'm looking down and I'm just feeling like it's just like it feels like offensive plays are a little bit different. Now that'll change per game here, right? In the indoor football league, that'll change per game. You change your offense all the time. And then I start just getting this feeling of like, I don't know how else to describe it. There's just a calmness on the field. And what I mean by that is it just feels like the quarterback's going over, Max Myler's going over, getting his play, and just running back to the huddle, you know. And there's not a lot of other things happening here on the field. What I mean by that, when Coach Guy's out there, he's talking to the refs. He's yelling at players. Stuff to that effect. I'm not in no way saying it's negative. I look over, and there's somebody else on the field on the offensive side giving the play calls on the field. I made a note. Guy is not on field. He's out there for defense. He came out at the end of the second quarter to call that at the end because there's some time management stuff and things like that. First time in a long time, if ever, that I remember, Coach Guy wasn't on the field for the offensive play calls, passing it over. After the game, he said they made that decision earlier in the week because he wanted to help with the defense and things. And if you don't know, they have headsets so they can talk back and forth and he can give plays and stuff to that effect. Just wanted to make that note there and see if that continues that way. You know, or does, you know, it go back to the way it was before? And I'm like I said, the way I'm describing it probably makes it sound more negative than I think it does. And I asked him after the game, I said, hey, you know, how does that work with the flow, communication of the quarterback with a new person in there and stuff like that? He didn't really answer it, but I think he knew what I was asking there. You know, it's just like voices change right on the field. I do know this. 78, one of my favorite linemen on this team, Slaughter. He's out there. He already has a unsportsmanlike penalty in this game. You get 2 of them, you're kicked out of the game. They only have 3 linemen on this. Later on in the game, he gets in a dust-up again. The new person that's out there calling the plays on the field kind of like went over there and like settled him down a little bit. Like you instantly saw it. He ran over there. It was like, oh, and he just settled down. There was no reaction to it to get his second personal or unsportsmanlike penalty. You get kicked out. It was just an interesting thing there with when you see changes like that where a coach takes himself out of the situation, lets somebody else handle it. There's trust involved in there. It's fascinating to see that happen for you Rattlers fans, that did happen, of course, over the weekend as well. So we'll keep our eyes on that, of course, if we talk about that. I think they go to Las Vegas this weekend up there in Las Vegas. Your Arizona Rattlers do as well. But 4-1 on the season, starting off just like they like to do, right? Another successful start to the season for your Arizona Rattlers as well. The other thing that happened this weekend that's worth noting, we'll obviously talk more about this on the pit stop this week as well. Talladega happened this weekend. The big wreck happened as well. We'll talk about that. They ended up saying 26 cars involved in it. If you follow me on the pit stop, at the Pit Stop Talk on X, you saw me yesterday go, pretty much everybody's involved in this one. It so isn't wrong. 26 of the, 32, 34 cars involved in that wreck. A lot of them wiped out in that as well. A lot of them got back out there again. But Talladega, what happens here, right? A guy that you don't expect to win gets the win. Something about this kid, I'm going to show you. I'm going to describe Carson Hocevar to you as somebody that is outside looking in on him. I'm not best friends with him. I have talked to him a few times while covering NASCAR and being at events. His fire suit here in Phoenix, I talked to him about that because it was just an amazing fire suit and design. Runs for Spire Motorsports, who's involved in a big lawsuit with Joe Gibbs Racing right now with the guy they hired from Joe Gibbs Racing, Gabe Hart there. Spire gets the win. Carson Hocevar gets the win. Carson Hocevar is one of those guys that on the racetrack, if you're familiar with racing, Joey Logano, like he'll do whatever it takes to win, even if it means getting a little shady at times. He's not going to hurt you. He doesn't want to hurt you out there, but he'll do stuff that you don't like to push you out of the way for him to get the win. Very confident driver in that aspect and things to that effect. Well, he's also a little quirky. So much so, I just wanted to share this with you as well. Carson Hocevar gets the win. If you don't know afterwards, a lot of times you do this, spin out his first NASCAR Cup Series win as well. He goes out there and you do the burnout, right? You park your car, etc. Carson Hocevar, just to show you kind of what he's like, here he is after this race in Alabama there at Talladega. Gets the win. He does this for his post-lap celebration. Tell me if you've seen this before in NASCAR circles. Here's Carson Hocevar.
Rule. Well, better to be a rule maker than a rule breaker. That's what DW always said.
Absolutely.
How about this? Remember at Richmond one year when Earnhardt's windshield got all covered and he sat on the windowsill, drove the car and wiped the windshield. Larry, you remember that?
That's a moment. That's cool.
Sat there just about like this during the race, under caution. Climbed back in the seat, put the belts back on, got back to racing because he didn't want to make a pit stop and go to the back. Well, this beats all.
Look, there's nobody in that car driving. You don't believe me? Watch how he has to stop this thing.
I hope by the time he gets to the start-finish line and our cameraman, he figures out how to stop this.
That could be the problem. We couldn't figure out how to get it going.
Just shut it off. Do it with ignition.
Yeah, pretty cool. Being able to sit like that with the...
But that's why you like this kid.
Yes, he's a thinker.
Always thinking outside the box and doing something different, paving his own way.
What a way to celebrate. That's unbelievable.
He's got to turn it up to the
I
wall.
don't know that we can get it stopped, guys. There we go.
Trying to figure out how to press the brake.
Uh-oh.
He's a tall kid, too, folks.
Uh-oh.
He's a tall kid.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, okay. And a burnout.
I was about to say, you can take it down, Kobe. But yeah, isn't that fun? First race win. We'll talk more about that in the races, of course. O'Reilly and the Cup Series as well. IndyCar's off again this week. They don't get back on the track there, the Indianapolis road course, until May 9th. Of course, you're getting into Indianapolis 500 month here in May. Coming up, IndyCar only has 2 races this month, or 3 technically, because I think they go to Detroit on technically the 31st of May coming up. So, but 2 big ones, obviously, the road course. But NASCAR continues on. We'll talk about that. Come and join us on the pit stop as well. Normally on Wednesdays, I got to talk to Kobe on the schedule here, but if we don't get it recorded before Wednesday, because I have that thing at my kid's school on Wednesday, then it'll definitely be out Thursday for you, but we'll have that update for you here as well. But Robert says, be honest, Miss Autumn is there in case math is involved. And math is involved in indoor football, man. It adds up quickly and confusing, and oh my goodness. But there's a lot of me going, what? What just happened? Robert says, I'm not big into NASCAR, but I now have a favorite driver. He's an up-and-coming kid, too. He's going to be somebody, if you know anything about NASCAR, and you might not, but Ross Chastain-like. The difference is Ross Chastain, as he's gotten bigger and is now a Trackhouse, struggling out there to race and things to that effect. Does Carson Hocevar will get to that level? He's kind of already there with Spire Motorsports. But can he get to a level where he can sustain and going down the winning path, whereas Ross Chastain has kind of gone down the other side of the path as well going forward. But there you go, folks. I just thought that was funny this weekend. Thought I'd share with you here, the sports audience, as well on how he's driving. Because I saw a couple people go, there's somebody in that car driving it. There wasn't. He's just having some fun out there. Let's take a break here. Come back. We got to talk Suns and NBA. We got to talk Major League Baseball and your Arizona Diamondbacks. 2 games down in Mexico this weekend, Mexico City. We'll just talk about those. And if you watched on Saturday, you saw my buddy Mason Miller out there on the mound. Man, I get it. He's the best one out there right now, but I cannot get enough of him, man. A good, solid closer. That's what makes baseball great, folks. And we'll talk some NHL as well. Get you updated on that before we're done today. Appreciate you joining me for the 2 hours. Just me here today. Bruce Cooper tomorrow. Yeah, boy. Come on back, folks. Main event. And we're back here, Main Event, Monday edition. Getting you caught up on the weekend. Dale Hillistray's off today. Be back on Thursday for the typical Thursday show. He's off doing a 1980 High school, Saguaro, the Fighting Helistrays out golfing here in Palm Springs. As I said earlier, I checked my phone and I just loaded up Facebook and I saw the group picture of them in the van driving over there to Palm Springs. I call it the van, the old man van, but I headed over there as well for a fun 3 days. We'll be back later on in the week as well. So I appreciate you joining me here and looking forward to this. Of course, we're here 8 to 10 a.m. on Robat TV. We're doing some testing on some other things. Learning some things, doing some internal testing. Some of you have found it, and I appreciate you doing so. Share us with your friends. Like and subscribe as well to all of our stuff on the free podcast systems. Don't forget about the production YouTube page. It's where we're going to put the Rattler stuff up and things to that effect. TME Media AZ, because we're doing a lot of testing around that right now. And then, of course, Rumble as well. Rumble.com/user/TME Media is where you can find all of our programming there. And also the Real Matrix that we produce there as well. Real Matrix comes out 10 a.m. here at Robat TV on Fridays, noon on Rumble, and of course on the free podcast systems. Man, that is taking off here. Angry Patriots, excited to have you guys come along. He just wants you to come in with an open mind, question everything, is what he is saying. He says don't have to believe it, but more importantly, just look at it and question kind of what's out there as well, is what he's looking for you to do as well. But there's on rumble.com/user/TME Media. And of course, follow TME Media AZ on Twitter as well with programming updates and what we do here. For those of you looking for a home for a podcast or home for a show, weekly, monthly show, whatever, we got the ability to work with you. Just reach out to me here as well, and we'll get you all set up. Text us 623-252-6670 on our text line. And, we got a little crazy here because somebody's already texted in and said your Beck take today was stupid. He said it was a reach. I added the word stupid on there as well. Text us anytime where you're listening to us on demand or, of course, live as well. Text us there. Hit us up. TME Sports Show on X as well. Of course, if you've caught on to the testing formats that we're doing right now, hit that up as well as, it is available to you like Robert did as well. And, he's been doing it. Papa Mike chimes in and says, missed the show today? I'll catch the replay. He goes, I was busy in Vegas this weekend. Woo, I know that feeling. That was me last weekend, Papa Mike. We probably do Vegas a little bit different, though, as well. But, yeah, as soon as we're done here, all of our programming, McCollum on Business, is on demand now at Robat TV, a YouTube page, and, of course, a Rumble as well. As soon as we're done here, we get it up on Robat TV as well, on demand, on YouTube, as well as Rumble as well. So come and join us, folks. Catch us however you like. Share us with your friends. Like and subscribe to our podcasts and pages. Just gets us out there a little bit more as we grow this production company and what we do here as well. And folks, we got to talk about it, right? NBA playoffs. Let's start with that. Suns 12:30 game down there at the Morgue, as we like to call it here in downtown Phoenix, against the best team in the NBA, the Thunder, Oklahoma City Thunder. No question about it. I told you guys after game 2, Suns played without Goodwin, played about as good as they could possibly play in that scenario. I didn't see them being able to, and they couldn't compete and they couldn't beat them, right? As they went through that. Now they come back home in game 3, play a pretty good game. I was not upset about the way that they played their basketball game on Sunday. They're just playing the best team in the NBA and a team they're not going to beat. From them getting all the calls, right? Lou Dort, ASU staple. Lou Dort tripping Devin Booker. All the stuff that goes around the Thunder. I'm trying to watch my words carefully so I don't get a big fine as well out there. Suns are just mismatched. I will say this, though. The crowd wasn't into that game. I questioned that going into this series. How's the crowd going to? I said it in the Portland play-in game, right? The first play-in game, 7 and 8. I said, how's the crowd going to be in this game? Are they going to step up and realize that there's a play-in game? The crowd stepped up in that Portland play-in game. Period. End of story. They did. Loud, playoff atmosphere. At least on TV on Saturday, it didn't feel like a playoff atmosphere from the crowd. I wasn't in the building. was nowhere near the building. Maybe it was different inside of it. Devin Booker afterwards did comment that it was loud in there and stuff, but you could tell he even was thought it should be better playoff atmosphere with his comments out there as well. So look, you're down 3-0. Throw up the NBA playoff standings here, if you would, for me, Kobe. Yeah, they're down. Play tonight. Dale thought that if the Suns were to win a game in this series, he thought it would be Game 3 or Game 4 when the Thunder were up 3-0. So here's the question you got here. 6:30 p.m. tonight, Peacock, obviously here in Phoenix at the Morgue. I'm just going to tell you guys right now, Phoenix Suns season's ending tonight. They don't want to get on a plane and go back to Oklahoma City. They know they're mismatched. This isn't even a negative thing. Like, people take this as negative. They aren't in the Thunder stratosphere, let alone planet, let alone building, let alone city. They're just not. If the Thunder don't win the game tonight, it's going to be because the Thunder don't play well to win this series tonight. It's just the Suns are not at the level where they can play with the Thunder. Period. End of story. Take it as negative if you want to. That's the truth, hard reality of it. The Suns playing at their absolute 1,000th point best aren't going to be able to compete with the Thunder and beat them. Now, can the Suns surprise us? I'd like to hope so. I just don't think it's going to happen tonight. This series is over. Sun season over as well. And by the way, it's going to feel disappointing tomorrow morning when we wake up or whenever it ends. It's going to feel like it was a disappointing Sun season. It wasn't. They exceeded expectations this year. Now we got to do some roster deconstruction and stuff like that in the offseason. But there we go. Lakers are up 3-1 on the Rockets. I was impressed. Rockets, I thought were going to get swept in this series. LeBron James, a late turnover. Kevin Durant's out now with his ankle. It's got burn spurs or something with his leg and his ankle. He's going to be out for a little bit. Rockets were able to come in and get that win over the Los Angeles Lakers to make that a 3-1 series. Now it's just a matter of when will the Lakers, close out the Rockets is kind of what we're doing. I suspect in the next game, but we'll have to see here. Nuggets Timberwolves is a whole nother story. Minnesota leads 3-1. Big fight happened at 2 seconds left in this game. Jokic was fined $50,000. McDaniels was fined $35,000. Was there any suspensions? I don't believe there was. But it had to do with making a basket late in this game, already in a blowout scenario. 2 seconds left. Jokic took offense to it. A lot of frustration for the Nuggets. Jokic isn't playing well in this series overall. Game 2 was atrocious for him. But the Nuggets are going to go down to the Timberwolves. I do not see the Nuggets winning this series. Timberwolves will get to advance. Now you got the Spurs, got Wemby back here as well. Wemby recovered from his concussion protocol. Says he does not like the concussion protocol. Felt he could have come back earlier, but of course they wouldn't let him. Spurs lead that series 3-1 as well. Spurs Nuggets was a series I was really, really looking forward to. Spurs Timberwolves, folks, we're going to have a Thunder Spurs Western Conference Finals here coming up. The Spurs were the one team in this league that played the Thunder tough all year long. That's going to be a fantastic series if we get to that series here coming up as well. I know, Steve, you write off the Timberwolves all the time. Yeah, I know, and I'm doing it again right now as well. On the East Side, Pistons Magic 2-1 still. Orlando leading that series. They played at night, by the way. They're the early game on Peacock for that. Orlando's up 2-1, folks. Orlando is giving the Pistons everything on the planet. I do think the Pistons still win this series. But to do so, this is going to go 7 games, and the Pistons are going to have to win it in Game 7. The Magic have their number. We could see a monumental upset here in the first round, or at least a long series here. We'll see tonight. Must win for the Pistons tonight here as well, down 2-1 to Orlando. Cavaliers Raptors. I said nobody should care about this series. Cavaliers are winning this series easily. This is a garbage series, a boring series. I think both these teams are boring to watch play basketball. And look at that. Nailed it. It's 2-2 now. Both teams have won on their home court. 2-2. Raptors came back and made this a series. Got to give Toronto credit. I still don't care about this series. I still think this is a garbage series. I just don't care about it at all. But I mean, look how easy this is. If the Pistons get upset by Orlando here in their series, Cavaliers Raptors have a good chance to make it to the conference finals coming up from that side, because the really good teams, besides the Pistons, are down at the bottom of this bracket here as well. They don't play till Wednesday again. They're the Cavaliers and Raptors. Then Knicks Hawks. Right now it's a 2-2 series here. Knicks got the win over the weekend. 2-2 series. They play tomorrow on Tuesday here. I just want to see the Knicks go long in this series. I don't care who wins this series, because I think the Celtics will beat them on the other side as well. When they go to the next round, Celtics are up 3-1 over the 76ers. Joel Embiid returned in that game yesterday. Didn't matter at all. Celtics won that series as well. Both of those, the Knicks Hawks and Celtics 76ers, play tomorrow night as well for them. So tonight you got Pistons Magic at 5 p.m. You've got Suns Thunder tonight, 6:30 p.m. our time. Then you got Nuggets Timberwolves here tonight, 7:30. Timberwolves can end this series tonight. Oof. Who would have said that? Beginning of the season here as well. Look, the Suns are just running into this, the best team in basketball. There's no other way to break it down. We can break down the plays. We can break down the referees. We can break down, the Suns rebounding, etc. The series is going exactly like the way I thought it would. The Thunder are the best team in basketball. I only see one team that can compete with them, at least in the West, and that would be the Spurs. That's it. And I'm not even sure the Spurs can beat them. In the East, maybe the Celtics can make a series of that and maybe put pressure on them. Other than that, the Thunder are just better than everybody. That's where we stand on the NBA side of things. Suns season doesn't end tonight. It is up. And let us know if you think it's going to as well. Then tomorrow we'll be doing, with Bruce Cooper, we'll be doing the eulogy there of your Phoenix Suns on this season as well. So, Papa Mike says the Suns did play much better. Hopefully they get a win today. Just today, though. Papa Mike's living in Oklahoma right now, folks. So he's a big Thunder fan over there. Dale thinks that if they had a chance to win it, the only chance they had was in a Game 4 where the Thunder don't show up because the series is clinched. There's a possibility that happens. I don't see it happening, but there's a possibility that happens. Robert says, imagine McDaniels trying that in the 70s or 80s. It would have been a lot bigger than pushing and shoving and that type of stuff that happened the other night. There would have been fists flying and stuff to that effect. And then Papa Mike says, Spurs dominated the Thunder in the regular season. They may take them in 7 games. The Spurs faltered against the Trailblazers and overcame that. I don't think they will falter again. Yeah, but they faltered because they lost Wemby for that game because he fell on his face. Major concussion, etc. from that. The Spurs with Wemby are completely a different team out there, and it's going to be fun to watch. I'm looking forward. I hope that's the Western Conference Final Series that we get, to be honest with you. That's the one that I'm now, with the Nuggets playing like they are, that's the one I'm rooting for the most right now to see when it comes. Because now that the Suns are out of it, I just want to see good basketball at this point. Like the Lakers or the Rockets, which is going to be the Lakers that advance, but even if it was the Rockets, 0 chance against the Thunder. Luka can do some things against the Thunder if he's able to come back and play ever again. But 0 chance for the Lakers to beat the Thunder, especially in a 7-game series. So I'm really looking forward to the Spurs Thunder matchup here. Hopefully we get that coming up. Throw up the NHL bracket for me as well. We'll get you updated over the weekend. One thing I talk about a lot here on this program is how the NBA stretches out their first round of the playoffs to massive levels and differences. I will never understand why Vegas Knights in Utah, who, by the way, Utah's up 2-1. They won that first game at home. Why you have a 5-day break. It's not like the Jazz are playing in Utah and the stadium's booked up. Why do you have a 5-day break in that series here for Game 5? Or Game 3. I'm sorry, Game 4, excuse me. 5-day break there. Too many numbers involved. I'm confusing my head. I don't get why that's the case. I don't get why you do that. Makes my head hurt. I would have loved to see them play yesterday, for instance, from that side. Pressure's on Utah. Pressure's on the Knights here today. Get this win tonight. Pressure is on them beyond you don't believe. You go down 3-1 to a young team, you're not coming back from that. Or you expend a lot of energy to get past from it at that point. This is almost a must win for the Knights. By the way, I still have confidence Knights are winning this series. It's wavering a little bit, but I do think the Knights can get there. That is our 9:30 or 6:30 p.m. our time, 9:30 Eastern time game tonight. Golden Knights at Mammoth. 5-day layoff here for the Knights to get their feet underneath them. Let's see what they do out there on. Now that Game 3 at home, first home game for Utah. The playoffs, the crowd was nuts. All half of them that could see the stadium were losing their mind. The other half that couldn't see it were losing their minds also, even though they couldn't see what was happening except for on the video board. Yeah, this is going to be a fun game tonight, 6:30 p.m. The other game tonight, Flyers and Penguins. 3-1 here, series lead for Philadelphia right now. Pittsburgh was able to get the win over the weekend. I do think Flyers close it out tonight, but we'll have to wait and see here for tonight's game. Colorado did end up sweeping the Los Angeles Kings. Los Angeles Kings did not make it easy for Colorado, but they were expectantly able to win this series. Kings are the Pittsburgh Steelers of the NHL. They make the playoffs and lose in the first round to a good team anymore. It seems like that's their lot in life, but Colorado does move on. Now it's going to be interesting because Dallas, Minnesota is going 7, folks. I'd be shocked if it doesn't go 7. These guys are battling it out. They're going to finish this series, and Colorado's just sitting at home. Game 1 in the Colorado, whoever they play, whether it be Dallas or Minnesota, is going to be, I think, a first game where Colorado could lose that game because if they're sitting at home and the other team's coming in off of, a hard-fought playoff series. They're still tested, whereas Colorado can relax for a little bit. Then after that, I think Colorado takes command. But that might be an interesting Game 1 here to pay attention to coming up. Colorado moved on here, waiting for the Dallas-Minnesota winner, that series is 2-2 as well on that series. They get underway tomorrow night, Wild and Stars as well. Then you've got Edmonton and Anaheim. Anaheim right now up 3-1 in this series, surprisingly. Some controversy last night, which I don't see it as controversy. Edmonton fans are losing their mind. Here's the thing to keep in mind here. Anaheim Ducks, who barely made the playoffs this year, they have the ugliest uniforms in the league, in my opinion. I don't like the orange. I like their previous uniforms. These orange ones just make me want to gag. Always happen. But they're up 3-1. The winner of the Vegas Knights Utah series, if Utah can get through this, they can make it to the Western Conference championship, folks. They can. The Utah, they're probably better. They're better than Anaheim, and they can compete with Edmonton. Utah can go on a run here if they get past the Knights here in this first round. Tonight's going to be a big game towards that side of it. Last night, if you missed the controversy, well, let's just go to the broadcast here. The Oilers, of course, then the Ducks. Well, let's see what happens. Is this a goal? Is this not a goal? I got the broadcast and the replay for you. Here we go.
That's what I said. I'm surprised it's called a goal on the ice. But obviously that's what they felt they saw here this year. This is going to be the best look. And, I mean, you can't see it 100%
the skate's blocking
over the line,
it.
but
That's a goal.
Because it's called a goal on the ice. And again, the fact that it's called a goal on the ice.
Maybe that's why he saw it from an angle that we can't see. I mean, you look at that
that's a
there
goal.
from where he was. And from his angle, he would have been able to look under, but I don't see him pointing to a puck or calling that a goal. So he called that after.
Absolutely.
That puck was...
That's why I said there was no indication.
You can
They're
take it
still
down,
looking at
Kobe,
this
there.
over-
So that's what's interesting. Look at that guy. There's one. If you know hockey, there's always a referee behind the net that can see if it goes. The puck has to fully cross the line is the rule for you for you that aren't as familiar with hockey rules. If there's 1 inch of the puck touching that red line, it is not a goal. It has to be completely across it. No ref was back there to see it. No signal immediately. No red lamp on immediately. It goes in there. They play it. They call it a goal. They go do the replay. They determine they're going to keep it a goal. I have a feeling that if they would have called it a no goal and reviewed it, it would have been stated no goal. That's how close it was. But that's a goal. Edmonton fans are losing their minds last night, and probably today as well. We're getting screwed. Now you're down 3-1 to the Ducks. That's your problem, Edmonton fans. Your team's been to the finals the last 2 years, and they're struggling. Draisaitl, right? All the guys up there. McDavid. Whew. Anaheim Ducks. Look at them go. 3-1 for that. Throw the bracket back up if you could there, Kobe. We'll talk about the east side here. I told you Philly Pitt play tonight as well. I expect Philly to close out that series. Carolina did end up sweeping. I told you nobody should care about that series. Only thing to watch that series for was just to watch the Kachuk kid cause fights and things to that. Carolina won easily 4-0 in that series of sweep. So Carolina moves on, gets the winner of Philadelphia Pitt. That's why I also think Philadelphia will win tonight. They're going to come in motivated. They do not want Carolina getting a lot of rest while they have to keep playing in that series. I do think Philadelphia will win because of that as well coming up here later on tonight. So there we go. And then you got Tampa Bay, Montreal 2-2. Montreal got the big win to tie that series up 2-2 on this series. I told you Montreal's in play. Even Lou told you Montreal's in play in this series. I wasn't confident enough to put money on Montreal or bet them. I was just confident enough to say they're in this series. They'll make a series out of it with Tampa Bay, and boy, are they. They have a chance to win this series as well. Buffalo is up 3-1 to Boston. They get underway tomorrow as well in their series. Buffalo is going to win that series. I've told you that all along. I was just more curious on how his young kids, first time in the playoffs, 19 years, how they play at home. Folks, they're playing well at home, even at that game 1 comeback. Boston, young team, trying to figure it out. Well, they're just running into a juggernaut there in Buffalo as well. So it's going to be fun. The series, they don't play until Wednesday, I believe. No, I apologize. They don't play till... No, what the heck? When's Buffalo play again? I got to look this up here. Oh, I'm sorry. Buffalo plays tomorrow night, Tuesday night. Buffalo and the Sabres. So you can see that series close out tomorrow night as well, whereas Tampa Bay, Montreal going to go on for a while on the NHL side of things. Some of these series are a lot of fun, folks. If you're a hockey fan, or even if you're not, you just like the fun of sports, check it out as well. Robert says the usurpers advancing would be a horrible thing to happen. Also, that's a goal. Yeah, I know. But Edmonton fans were losing their minds about it last night. We're getting screwed. Yeah, the skate was technically covering it, but we also know what a puck looks like, and we know where the red line ends. Pretty obvious to see. So like I said, 2 things happened there. The ref not behind the net to call it caused some doubt out there. Then the skate being over it caused even more doubt. But Edmonton, you did not get screwed. You're down 3-1 to the Ducks. Moving forward as well. Yeah, Robert's not a Utah fan. He's, like I said, the players and stuff. I mean, the players, people say, well, the players had nothing to do with it. They did. The players were vocal to their union on how the stadium wasn't up to the standards and stuff to that effect. Those words went a long ways to get them to move, even though they were making extra money for being there and stuff like that aside. Papa Mike says, to me, clearly a goal. So there we go. We all agree. And NHL agreed also. You know who doesn't agree? The sore losers in Edmonton don't agree as well. Hey, really quick, Diamondbacks off today, but they went down to Mexico City to get split the series there with the San Diego Chargers, San Diego Padres. Now that's a team that they're competing for second place in this division. Would have liked to see another series win as well from them out there. But a couple things happened there. Look, they got the split. Fantastic. They ran into Mason Miller on Saturday. Nothing you're going to do on that. When they were up, they ended up losing that game. Then yesterday, they were down. What was it, 7-1, I think? 7-2? I get confused now. come back and win it. Tim Talwa, grand slam home run. Talwa, who's batting like minus something this year, hits a grand slam home run. Diamondbacks come back and win the game. I went and saw Mario Galaxy World yesterday afternoon, and when we pulled into the theater, the Diamondbacks were coming back. I come out to see Talwa hits the grand slam, and they win the game and all that stuff. Couple things, though, that alarm me is they're off today, and they go all the way to Milwaukee now. That's a long flight from Mexico City to Milwaukee coming up on this. Injuries coming out of Mexico City games was alarming for the Diamondbacks as well. If you missed it, Perdomo on Saturday, well, let's show you what happened to him in the field. Was taken out of the game here as well. And then I got an update for you. If you missed it, here's Perdomo.
Caught possibly. Take a closer look at it. You see him getting his feet ready? Didn't look like he did anything there.
You can take it down. So
Saw a little wince, though, at the very end.
Has a sprained ankle, I think, is what they diagnosed it in that series there. So Perdomo out of that game, obviously did not play in game 2 of that series yesterday for him as well. Zach Gallen on Saturday has to leave the game early. Took the ball off of his shoulder as well. Leaves that game early from that. So we got a couple updates here yesterday as well. Perdomo had that was an error on that play also, by the way, for him. So Torey Lovullo said yesterday he feels strongly that Perdomo was going to be able to avoid the IL because of how his ankle felt Sunday morning as well. Didn't look like a bad sprain at all. He was limping, of course, and stuff like that. So there's your update on Perdomo. Going to Milwaukee, flying on a bad ankle for that long is going to be a whole nother story moving forward. Zach Gallen, as of yesterday, you saw him leave the game with taking that ball off his shoulder, the ball off the bat. Zach Gallen, according to Lovullo yesterday, gave his update. He said that the club is more encouraged today, meaning yesterday, that he will be able to make his next start because of the way his shoulder felt yesterday as well. So good news based off of 2 injuries that happened on Saturday's game there in Mexico City. We just don't know. Now, can Gallen make his next stop? But Perdomo, how long is he going to be out is kind of the question that you have as of right now. Then yesterday, ADC, Adrian Del Castillo, hurt a finger in his glove hand with that foul tip ball. James McCann ended up coming in and replacing him yesterday as well for the Diamondbacks. So injuries struck this team, Diamondbacks team down there in Mexico City as well. So we'll have to see, comes up here, big Milwaukee series coming up. Milwaukee's not necessarily playing great this season so far, but they had a ton of talent. Like I said, you're stepping back up. The White Sox are the only bad team the Diamondbacks have played all year. Everybody else, even though some of them, like the Tigers, have a disappointing record, the Blue Jays, they're still tons of talent on that team, right? The White Sox were the only team where you go, they lost that series, right? Of course. San Diego Padres coming into that 2-game series in Mexico City. They had a record-tying month, so they had a 4-run plus comebacks. What they had. Padres were coming back from late, 9th inning, coming back and winning. Obviously, they get the lead. Miller shuts everybody out, whatever. And the Diamondbacks went in there yesterday and hit the Padres bullpen for 10 runs on 12 hits in that 7th and 8th inning yesterday. Obviously, they were down 7-1, if I remember correctly, win the game 12-7 afterwards for the Diamondbacks. No quit in this Diamondbacks team. That is something to watch as well for them as they continue to battle it out and get down there. So off today for the Diamondbacks. Tomorrow, they get up there and play Milwaukee for 3. Doesn't get any easier. How do these injuries play out here in this series as well? Vargas continue to do his. Here's the problem that I have with the Diamondbacks. Not a problem. Let me rephrase that differently. Not a problem with the Diamondbacks. More of an observation. Perdomo, Marte, the stars of this team, Carroll even a little bit. The stars of this team, they're being outplayed by guys that, Vargas, for instance, and guys like that. It would be nice if it's fine. Have the the second tier guys step up for the big guys when they struggle a little bit. But you want them to be on the same page together to really get that rocket ship out of here from that side. I'm not, like I said, I don't want to sound negative on that or bad on it, as Dale would say, but you are, right? Yeah, so there we go. By the way, we talked about, I'm going to have more info on this, but Arizona, in terms of the draft as we wrap up here today, thanks for joining me, by the way. He told you the school, Arizona, had 4 players drafted in the draft. Later rounds, Arizona State had 4, but 2 in the first round as well. A lot of undrafted free agents from Arizona State signing with teams. Like I said, Abney. Was Abney drafted? I get confused now on who was drafted and who wasn't here on this Monday. I hear, but here we go. Abney did go to the Lions in the draft as well. So Jordan Tyson, of course, to the Saints. Max and Mateer to the Steelers. Mateer did sign the tight end. I like him a lot. Went to the Steelers as an undrafted free agent. Keith Abney was drafted by the Lions. Keyshawn Elliott drafted by the Bears as well. Xavier Alford is the kid I was trying to think of. I like him a lot in the secondary. Undrafted free agent with the Buccaneers. Malik McClain to the Jets. Jared Crook and Miles Rouser. I love me some Rouser, man. That guy punishes people. Well, they're going up to the Seahawks and going to go to camp up there in Seattle. Nyland Green to the Falcons. And then Prince Dorba, who I like a lot when healthy, going to the Buffalo Bills. He's following the Dale Hellestrae trend here of the draft, going to the Bills as well. Arizona had a bunch of undrafted free agents signing as well, including their center coming up here to the Cardinals as an undrafted free agent. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow with Bruce Cooper coming in. A lot of that NFL draft and kind of the expectation for the Cardinals moving forward. I'll ask him about my Carson Beck theory here with the Bo Nix blueprint I talked about earlier in the show. If you missed any part of the show, catch us on demand, of course, YouTube, on Robat TV, Rumble as well, for those of you that prefer Rumble out there. Folks, appreciate you joining me here on this Monday. Tomorrow, be back again with Bruce Cooper. Come and join me, would you? I'll call him on business at 7 a.m. tomorrow as well. We'll see you then, everybody. TME Media AZ. Follow us on X as well. Like and subscribe either YouTube or on rumble.com/user/TME Media or the favorite podcast systems that you listen to us on as well. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great Monday night.